redefines leadership through the lens of strategic rest in Greensboro, North Carolina, June 6th through the 8th, 2025. We'll see you there.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you? Well, before I ask that, I have to say welcome to the Power Nap Live, folks. It is Sunday morning, and you're here with the folks that you come and hang out with every Sunday morning because we're doing everything we can to ensure that you get the power, the energy that you need to practice strategic rest in the upcoming week. So I'm here with my co-hostess with the mostest, like I always say, Dr. K. And let's start this thing off. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm freshly back in North Carolina. I've been in Virginia the past week. So
not freshly back. I like that. Freshly back.
Yeah, I got back yesterday. So getting back to the groove of things. The weather is nice for now, but we'll see how that changes here in North Carolina. But yeah, I'm good.
So y'all are having nice weather in North Carolina right now, because other folks I know around me, especially like in the South, it's always so funny because I say the South, and Texas is literally one of the most southern places on the map in the United States that you can go, right? Because us United States folks like to think we the only people. So the most southern piece of the United States, one of them that you can go to. But folks who have like lived in Texas and then maybe lived somewhere else, to me, and if you disagree with this, please let me know in the comments. But to me, Texas is Texas and the South is the South. It's just two very different. Like Texas is so large that it has its own culture, and I think it's because it has so many different like influences that have meshed together to make one large different culture than the South. Does that make sense? Like, to me, if I'm in Tennessee, which I'm originally from Tennessee, if I'm from Tennessee, or if I'm in Alabama, Mississippi, any of those things, like there's still kind of some of the same courtesies that happen in some, even though there could be some differences, there's still the same nuances around that southernness. But Texas is just Texas, baby. Like the way I said it is just Texas is Texas. So anyway, yeah. So my southern folks right now, especially I know for sure my people in Memphis, Arkansas, my parents called me this weekend because they were under a tornado watch.
We were.
Was in bathtubs. Were you? Oh my goodness.
So before I left for Virginia, North Carolina was under watch, and I don't know what happened because I wasn't here. I don't think it rained this much. And then like I came back yesterday and it's like in the 80s, but then the weather shows tomorrow when I looked, for the rest of the week, kind of like rainy 60s, 50s. So yeah.
So Willie said Texas is the only South. Don't start on my show, because I'm don't start. Okay, listen, do not start. Well, I love that, and I'm sending out love to everybody who's experiencing some wild weather out there. I hope that you're staying safe and also finding a way to experience strategic rest even in the tough stuff. That's why we practice it, so that when things, I know Dr. K shared the other day when she was trying to make it to the airport, and instead of like really focusing on what was happening, she was still finding pockets of micro strategic rest moments. We got to coin that. I like that. But hey, this is what I want to talk to you this week about. So I, first of all, I just want to always show gratefulness. Full-time entrepreneurship is by no means a walk in the park. Okay. And actually, maybe it is a walk in the park for me because I hate being outside. So entrepreneurship is a walk in the park for me. Okay. So, but one of the pieces that I have loved about it is the ability and the freedom to kind of decide what my schedule looks like. So this week, during the middle of the week, I got to actually go volunteer for this group that helps children, if that makes sense. I think it was actually the CPS, Texas. And they needed for someone to, because of course back to school is coming up, and they needed for folks to redo a couple of the closets that they had to take inventory of the stuff that they would have when they do back to school giveaway, and to create a resource room for some of the kids that would be there, that they, you know, are supporting and helping, if that makes sense. So I was able, of course, in the middle of the week to dedicate 4 hours to go in to be able to do that with my group, of course, through Junior League. And we had such a great time doing it. But all that to say, what it made me think about is, of course, this is kind of spring cleaning time. And when we think spring cleaning, we tend to think about like throwing out clothes, which my husband would probably appreciate if I did that, because I got so many boxes this week. I thought he was going to get me. But when I really came to, he was like, oh, weren't we saving? And I was like, yeah. But I didn't get nothing all year, so that's why it's a bunch of stuff. Anyway, long story short, as we think about spring cleaning, and I was really inspired while we were cleaning out those closets, I started to think about how that could, like, how that attaches to rest, or right, how that has to do with rest. And one of the things that I thought about is that people deep clean, people do all of this during the spring, but they don't think about what else might need to be refreshed. And that could be their schedule, right? We make all these commitments to people at the beginning of the year, commitments to ourselves, all of these different things. But how can we use strategic rest to be intentional about making room in our schedule? So that's the that I wanted to ask you. What are some of the ways that you use strategic rest to be intentional about making space in your schedule?
Ironically enough. So, you know, back at December, January, I don't know, months before April got here, as people know, I'm a member of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated, and we had our Eastern Regional Conference this past weekend. Well, they just finished up today in Crystal City, Virginia. And initially I had plans to attend. And so my thought was, well, I can go visit my best friend who lives in, you know, Richmond, and spend the week there, and then drive up, because it's only a 90-minute drive up, up there. And then, you know, people who know me, life got the best of me. And by the time I made a real commitment to attend, it was sold out. So I was like, okay, cool, whatever. And I was like, okay, so I'm not going to conference. And then I was like, well, I think I still should, you know, go to my best friends. Because when I go to my best friends, it's literally, I'm on the couch, I may be doing some work, she cooks, we go out to eat, we talk, and we sleep. Like, it is the most relaxed. There's no agenda. It's just what it is. So I do that at least once a year. And so I was like, well, let me go do that, because, you know, this has been a crazy semester in teaching. And then I was reminded. So shout out to the Zeta Mika of the Eastern region for Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated, because the regional president, Latoya Seiler, reached out to me and reminded me of a commitment that I had made a year ago at another conference, roughly a year ago, at another conference we was at, that I would present, you know, at the regional conference. And somehow I missed it. I forgot about it. And so when you think about spring cleaning and all those commitments that you made, and I was like, oh, well, I'm not even going. And then I thought, and I was like, well, if I go visit my best friend still, I could at least come up one day and then come back. And so that's what I did. So I went to Richmond, stayed the week, and then Friday I went up, presented, stayed longer than I anticipated, and then came back that night. And so when I think about this whole idea of spring cleaning, as everybody know, I only do things to bring me joy. And I'm glad I did it, because I came back really joyful. When I was there, I cannot count on how many hands people came up to me and said, I'm strategically resting. Because they have the book, they've read the book, they continue to read the book.
Yes.
So that was just mind-blowing, and it was just a humbling space for me, that even the work that we're doing is going into spaces, not even knowing that it would be talked about, but We had conversations about what it means to rest, talking about the book. I even had a couple say, hey, I know that the summit is coming. I'm looking, trying to get my coins together to make it happen. So, nothing is done in vain, right? And I think oftentimes when we are quote unquote spring cleaning, there are moments that, oh, I remember when I did this, I need to keep it. No, I need like making decisions. But thinking about once you make the decision, what's the outcome of the decision that you want to make, right? And so is it really to clean and get rid of stuff? And because you get rid of stuff doesn't mean you have to part from the memories of it, right? I also look at spring cleaning, not just clothes, not just cleaning your house, but spring cleaning your circle. Because the seasons that you're going into, these folks, they can't go with you. They may not be able to go with you. So what does spring cleaning look like, personally in terms of people and in relationships, right? And oftentimes, I seen I think it's before the new year when people post that little thing about, hey, if you made it, then you made it with me to the next year. I didn't delete you from Facebook, etc. I was like, we need to do more of that. And be really intentional about that, because relationships that we've had up until this point have gotten us where we are, good, bad, and indifferent. And if we're looking for something different, then we need to really assess, okay, going back, who's unrested in my life that I need to part ways with, or at least configure what our relationship looks like, because I'm going into a season of rest in everything that I do, so that I show up my authentic self and joyful. So there are a lot of connections to that deep spring cleaning beyond just getting rid of all these clothes, which I probably could do the same thing.
I felt that deeply. I always think of when people talk about like that new year, I always think about that meme where the lady walking up the stairs, like with that bag. So it's spring. Well, we're gonna wait all the way till, I can't wait till December to ask that to people. I'm gonna be like, it's strategic rest in your bag as you walk up the no. But one of the pieces that really had me kind of thinking too, like it kind of correlated. I don't know why I do, because rest is so important. I be everywhere thinking about how things have to do with strategic rest. But one of the things that I thought about too is transparency around rest, right? So one of the things that we kind of wanted to do but could not for this community partner was we were all the group of us that was there. Shout out again to my to Junior League of Fort Worth and to the ladies that were there with me helping make that place sparkle, okay? Because we did that. We were like, I took a little video. I was so hyped about how organized it started to that it looked. But whatever the case is, one of the things that we wished we had, and it's kind of against the rules for us to do that, because then we have to do it for every partner. But a bunch of us were kind of talking about how we wanted to get them clear bins, right? So the stuff that they had, it was all in boxes, and so we did organize it based on boxes. But a lot of us were talking about, had we had the opportunity ourselves to kind of choose what it would look like, all of it would be in boxes that we could see what we actually had, right? Mm-hmm. So that to me really inspired me around, like, as we do spring cleaning of folks, as we do spring cleaning of tasks that maybe we don't need to do anymore, getting rid of commitments that we made before, or at least re-looking at them. Because that to me is what I'm asking people to do. That's the intentional piece I want you to think about this week as you practice strategic rest. Really be intentional about looking at the time commitments that you made, right? Like, especially at the beginning of the year, and looking at ways to reimagine those around rest that you're looking for, right? Yeah. Is it that you said, oh, every morning I'm going to get up to work out, and then you notice that you ain't got up none of the mornings to work out?
Guilty.
None of the mornings to work out. That's okay. I'm not here here to beat you up about that. But now, instead of going, hey, well, I'm gonna wait till next year to figure it out and do the same thing, how can you, if you feel like that is what's going to help you strategically rest and feel better about the things that you do throughout the day, how do you re-look at that and reimagine what it can look like in your schedule, right?
Yeah.
I got somebody in the comments, Erica said, also guilty. Okay, so it's a bunch of people. I won't be the judge, the jury, okay, on this one. I'm just saying that's one of the things that you can look at. And then some transparency. Once you look at it, how can we add a process that allows for you to be able to easily look at what you reconfigured again? Rest and strategic rest specifically is all about being able to look quickly using the NAP framework. That's why we made it, to be able to figure out what you need to do to nurture yourself. Remember, that has to do around communities and also ways that you learn, but assessing quickly. The more you practice strategic rest, the more you'll be able to assess the things that are happening quickly, and then make sure that you prioritize them so that they're where they need to be in order for you to experience strategic rest. And that had we been able to walk into that closet and see exactly what we needed, that's the difference between an organized closet that you can't really see all the things that are in there and one that you can, right? It's to me using that NAP framework well.
Yeah, I think also tied to that is, as you thinking about speaking off of spring cleaning in different ways, what is it costing you? Not monetarily, but what is it costing you to get rid of some things or to reassess some things? And some folks are still attached to a lot of things in their life that they're afraid of what it looks like on the other end if they, unattach themselves. And I know that's been me personally. I have clothes that, I think I have clothes that I used to have a pair of jeans that I remember I got them in high school and I could still wear them to this day.
You have to stop.
Now, I don't know how I can still wear them because I'm not the size that I was in high school. And I was like, well, why am I not getting rid of these? Why do these continue to, come with me as I move?
Yeah.
And I didn't know. And so a lot of that is really sitting down with yourself with the things that that need to go because the expiration is up, the time is up. Why are you still keeping them, right? What memories are you trying to hold on to? And are you believing that you have to hold on to this tangible thing in order to hold on to the memory that's associated with it? And so I've gotten into the space where I get to a moment where I'm going to spring clean, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And then I sit and it's like, oh, I can't get rid of that. I don't want to get rid of that because if I get rid of that, then I'm going to forget about this. And so I am constantly in that rotation, that cycle of a tangible thing is the only way I can remember something. And so I had to learn that about myself. And I think in this assessing space of strategic rest and how it applies to spring cleaning is really getting clear on your belief systems about the things that need to be, given away or, reshaped or whatever you want to call it. What is your belief system around that tangible thing? And how do you begin to look at your life as though, okay, I can still have the memory of when I went to Disney World if I get rid of this shirt that I know for a fact I would never be able to wear again.
Absolutely.
Or repurpose it, right? I see people take shirts and they repurpose it as a quilt, right? So if I really don't want to get rid of it, how do I repurpose it, right? So that it doesn't add additional clutter or distraction for where I want to go.
That's exactly the piece that I was going to say, because what stuck out to me while you were saying that is that even though the pants fit, they still weren't bringing you what they needed to bring, right? And so when we're looking at rest, that can be the same thing. Some of the things that we need to reevaluate are things that still feel good, are things that are still feeling like they're working. But when you're intentionally looking at your schedule, when you're intentionally looking for spaces to rest, you will find that even the things that you feel sometimes are working for you, if you're intentional about about looking at the placement of it, you may be able to move something around that will allow you to experience and to practice strategic rest. And oftentimes we only look at the things that aren't working for us. You said, what does it cost? What is it costing me to not look at it? But the question on the other side is, what is it costing me not to look at it? It made me think of the fact that, hey, I'm bringing in new clothes, but didn't really get rid of any clothes. So now the frustration around not being able to find something, the frustration about fighting for my life in my closet will be the thing. I was so tickled because while I was at the service project, so I was moving things because I can be compulsive about some stuff. Okay. Anyone who knows me knows that that's the case. It's selective compulsion, but neurodivergent nonetheless. Okay. So when we were putting glue sticks back into this box, this girl kept putting them in there, but she wasn't putting it in there going the right way. Right? In my mind, there was a right way for this to be done. And I was like, we're putting it in there ourselves. Why would we not choose to put it the way, like the best way that it could be? Does that make sense? And there's 2 or 3 things hidden in that little piece that I just talked about, right? But for me, I was like, if we're gonna do it, if we're getting if we're the people who are getting the opportunity to set it, why not set it so it's perfect? Right? Where all the things are going the right way, where everything that is the same is together, instead of just throwing it all into one piece. So oftentimes when it comes to strategic rest or not doing strategic rest, we start to kind of just feel like we got to throw everything in a box so we can get done, instead of thinking about what it'll look like when we have to revisit the same thing. I wasn't just thinking about completing the task now. I was thinking about the time that it will save the person if we do this box this way, at this time. So to me, folks are not necessarily thinking about the rest right now. You need to be thinking, especially, that's what strategic rest helps you do, to not think about just rest now, but to be able to think about it in the long term. Strategic rest is a long game.
So here's another example. Laundry. I still don't know how people can wash clothes, dry them, fold them, and put them up. If you are listening or watching this and you're able to, hey, this is Saturday, Sunday, Monday, whenever you do it, I wash 2 or 3 loads, I put 2 or 3 loads in the dryer, I fold them and I put them up before Monday. God has anointed you in ways that I can only appreciate you for, because I lie to you not. I can wash clothes, dry them, and they go in my guest room, and I have had piles of clean clothes on a bed for 2-3 months. And instead of folding them and putting them up, when I'm looking for something, I already know it's in that pile. So I go through the pile, I'm doing this. And every time I do this to find something, I go back, it's like, now I got to go do this to find the next. And I understand that it causes me a little stress. And I always fuss at myself for, well, why don't you just fold them up? And so I've had different experiences of, okay, I'm gonna set a timer. I'm gonna tell Alexa to play music for an hour, and I'm gonna fold as many clothes as I can in an hour, and then I'm gonna put them up. And I've done that where I can see that I have a bed. And then life just hits and it's right back to it again. So for those that are watching, to help me strategically rest in this space of laundry, what is the secret? Because that also attaches to this idea of clutter. I'm unable to think clearly when my house or the space that I'm around is just cluttered and I feel suffocated. And so I noticed that when I do get to a space of folding clothes and putting them up, cleaning the house, etc., all these thoughts that I had jumbled up here just flow through. And I'm like, how do I continue to do this? And I don't want it to be a spring cleaning thing. I need it to be an everyday thing at this point. but yes, that's another example that comes up when you think about, spring cleaning, but something that a lot of people deal with, and that some people see as, oh, you just fold them, put them up, and it's just me.
Yeah.
I don't have a spouse, no kids, no, it's just me. And I'm like, what is it in that keeps me from, fold, wash, dry, fold them, put them up in one setting, right? I don't know.
Listen, I always wonder that same thing, because I'm not even gonna lie. First of all, Kessa said, Kessa said, Kisa, that's all. Okay. Kisa said doing laundry as she listening to this, if that makes sense. So maybe it's all about finding something engaging, like you said, to listen to and mentally making that a part of your thing. She said she washed, dry, and put up all in the same day. She said she don't iron, so she can't be letting no wrinkles set in. And then Willie said those laundry folks must be on that witchcraft.
It has to be something. Because I just haven't perfected it. I just haven't.
I'm the same. I think it has so much to do with, like, I don't even know what it has to do with. I know with me, I always tell people I married well, right? Mm-hmm. And people always think that has to do with, like, financial, and yes, my husband does fine in that area, but also one of the things is I truly would not have clean clothes. I always start out well. I get them in the washer. That's where I get them to. Okay. Aaron will get those clothes to the washer machine. I will turn on the washer machine. It will be a fantastic process. And after that, those clothes mean nothing to me. Sorry to this man, okay? Because I forget that the clothes are there. And then they show up back in a basket or in my room, and it has everything to do with that I married a responsible man, okay? Because I always forget that they are there. And so like, that to me is a part of a piece. Remember, we talked about strategic rest is not just something that you're doing yourself. It's also other people in your community. That's literally a part of nurture. The NAP framework reminds you that it's not just you that's responsible for your strategic rest. It is you that's responsible, but there's also people that are are you creating a community that also helps you experience strategic rest, that they understand the importance. Because like we just talked about, strategic rest is playing the long game. Yeah. It's really making sure that you're setting yourself up for success, not just the one time that you decide to take off, but how are you looking at your schedule intentionally at the time that you do the things that you do, the things that you're learning, the stuff that you love, the people that you love. How are you putting a magnifying glass to everything in your life in order to make sure that you're looking for those micro moments, because they may be those micro moments of strategic rest, or those big moments of strategic rest. And how do you not just use rest in this moment, but how do you set yourself up for success going forward to be able to experience that rest? That laundry got me.
I think as I was, I know Kisa personally. And so I was reading, I was like, and I can't recall because my mind is all over the place if she's taking the core strengths assessment, but I almost feel like people who do the laundry thing well are probably very process driven with some performance in there, right? When I'm totally performance, and it's like, what's the goal? Like, if I'm just going to wear the clothes again, why do I need to fold them back up and put them back up just to, like, so I'm thinking like maybe it's part of how I'm motivated that impacts this whole process of washing clothes, drying them, folding them, and putting them right back up. If I'm just going to go back in a couple of more days or weeks to pull this out and just to do it all over again.
And that's the question that we have to ask ourselves, right? Because what looks right for Kisa at her house with her laundry may not be what provides you rest, right? And that's the assessment of it all. I need a shirt that says that's the assessment of it all, okay? Because that truly is the assessment of it all. There are other things that, especially as someone who's motivated, listen, if you have never worked with Dr. K, there is not someone more motivated by performance than Dr. Kelly Dixon, okay? I ain't gonna say your middle name, but Dr. Kelly Dixon, okay? So for her, it really is, how do we get this done, right? Yeah. And to you, it is done. It's set in a place that's not in your way. You can go back and easily find the things that you're looking for because it's all in the same space. So it may be worth it to look at it in a different way. That for Keisha, it is rest for her to see that she's accomplished. The process works because all of this stuff is up, so she doesn't have to then iron her clothes. Yeah. But for you, maybe the process with laundry ends with it just being in that space because it allows you to go and do other things.
Yeah, because she's in HR, so that makes sense.
Keisha, if you've ever taken total SDI core strengths, let us know in the comments. I'm going to be looking out, even though it's about time for us to wrap out. If not, we'll find you in some other place. But that makes me wonder. And oftentimes, as we end this, we think about the way that other people do things. And one of the things that we have asked, that we implore you to do, that we have screamed from the mountaintops, is rest does not look the same for everybody. It can't, like, it just doesn't. And so if you're someone who's like, oh, well, all my other friends go and do this for rest, that may not be what you need, beloved.
Yeah,
rest for you may literally be sitting there and making sure all your crackers are going the same way while you eat your tuna. I don't know what it is. That's random. Now I want some tuna. But whatever the case is, if you need to, and if you haven't, that's what we're here for every Sunday, to really get you to be intentional about assessing for yourself, what does rest look like for you? Because you may discover some things that you've never looked at the same way, like that you've never looked at before, could be things that if you tweak them slightly, could provide you space for the rest that you're looking for, the strategic rest that you're looking for, and unlock a micro moment of strategic rest.
Yeah.
All right, folks. It's 30 minutes. Like, it goes by fast. I don't know if it goes by fast for them, but it definitely goes by fast for us. We will see you back here 10 o'clock Central Standard Time, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time each Sunday for Power Nap Live. I'm Dr. Erin Wilson, and this is Dr. Kelly Dixon, and it's time for us to get out of here. Dr. K, I hope you have the best this week,
yes,
and we'll see y'all next week. Oh, don't forget to get tickets for the Strategic Rest Summit, okay? We may have some updates coming for that, but we'll for sure let you know. But we want to see your face in the place. More info, I promise, this time about it afterwards. But you can always get your ticket because they're flying off the shelf. I just saw it in the comments, but at thestrategicrest.com. If you visit that website, you'll be able to get all the information you need for us to do this as a community, okay? All right, we will see you next week. Adios.
Join us for an immersive experience that redefines leadership through the lens of strategic rest in Greensboro, North Carolina, June 6th through the 8th, 2025. We'll see you there.